Shalom, shalom, shalom. Giving honor and praise unto the Most High, the Creator and the Maker of heaven and earth. My name is Yeshaya Yisrael of the tribe of Dan of the nation of Israel. This particular teaching, we refer to this, brothers and sisters, as noted there, the Hof'al stem. Okay, now we're going to deal with the same verb as we dealt with in the past, as in, say, lesson number 45 or 44. All right, and that is the root word shabar. The word shabar, as we already went over, brothers and sisters, means to break. All right, so now when you get into the Hof'al stem, brothers and sisters, is the passive of the Hof'al. And if you remember the Hof'al, brothers and sisters, is the causative of the qual, and the qual is the simple active. All right, so now once we get into the aspect of the Hof'al stem, brothers and sisters, what we're looking at right here, all right, we're going to deal with this and erase it and then move on from that particular point, is the aspect of it being in the future tense. Now, the root of that means to be broken or to be crushed. As stated, it is the passive of the aspect of the Hof'al. All right, so let's look at this right here. You have Ashbar, all right, and it's spelled, brothers and sisters, as such. Ashbar. Now, if you remember, this aleph right here, brothers and sisters, serves as a prefix. All right. And in that particular case, you have it to where it means I, whatever. All right. Now, the vowel pronunciation shows you what stem we're dealing with. Ashbar, I will be crushed. Okay. Then we have Tashbar, which means you will be crushed. All right. When you speak it to a male. All right. Then you have what, brothers and sisters? Ah, that's the shawal under the sheen. All right. Tashbari. Tashbari. All right. Tashbari, brothers and sisters, means what? You will be crushed when speaking to a female. All right. Then we have Yashbar, which means he will be crushed or it will be crushed. Now, when you're saying this one right here, meaning it will be crushed, that it has to be masculine because the yod represents the aspect of the masculine in that particular regard. All right. Then we have here yet again Tashbar, which means in this regard, she will be crushed. So here it means you will be crushed, masculine singular, and here you mean she will be crushed. Because as stated in the past, the future tense, second person masculine singular, is the same exact word, brothers and sisters, as the third person feminine singular in the future tense throughout all seven stems. All right, so that's something we want to point out in that particular regard. All right, then we have all right, as you may have figured, Nashbar, which means we will be crushed. All right. Then we continue on. All right. We have brothers and sisters, Tashberu. All right. Now, for those who may have not caught on, in due respect, I state this. You have it, brothers and sisters, where this wow serves as a suffix. Now, when you're dealing with the future tense in Hebrew, you will begin to see, know, and understand that that serves as a plural as well. Tashberu, which means you all will be crushed when speaking to males or a mixed company of people, males and females alike, all right? Then you have Tashbarna, all right? Tashbarna means you all, feminine plural, will be crushed. This is the singular side. This is the plural side. Singular side, plural side. All right. Then you have what? Yashbaru. Yashbaru means they will be crushed. All right. So if I were to say, for instance, the tables will be crushed. All right. I would say Hashulkano Yashbaru. Hashulkano Yashbaru. Now, even though it ends with the feminine plural with the word oat, you still know, brothers and sisters, because the root of shulchan, note, is shulchan, which is masculine. When you have it conjugated with any verb or put together, that is with any verb, you have to show it in its masculine form, even in a plural aspect. All right? So let's go on in that particular regard. Then we have one more time. Tashbarna. Tashbarna in this regard means they will be crushed. So if we were to take the word as we did before, ba'aya, plural being ba'ayot, ba'ayot tashbarna, all right? The problems will be crushed. The problems will be broken. The problems will be shattered. But we're going to focus more on the definition on this as the word crushed, all right? So this is something we want to point out in that particular regard, all right? So here we have ashbar, tashbar, tashbari, yashbar, tashbar. Nashbar tashbaru, tashbarana, yashbaru, tashbarana. All right. So as in the future tense, you have this word here, masculine singular second person, and singular third person feminine, same word. Same word with the second person feminine plural, third person feminine plural in the future tense in Hebrew is the same word. So that's something we want to point out in that particular regard. As before, Yashbar, Yashbaru. This wow that you see right here in this particular regard shows the aspect of it being, brothers and sisters, inside of the plural aspect. All right. So I'm going to erase this and then I'm going to explain why as we go on in this particular regard. Okay. All right. Let's look at what we've done right here. You have this part right here, okay? I want to show it with the pen, not the highlighter or the marker. All right. You have, brothers and sisters, this part here. Hey, Shin, Bet, Resh, Tau, Yo. Now, what we're looking at right here on this side, as well as on this side, is the past tense of this inside the Hof'al stem. Now, I want to emphasize this, that the Hof'al stem in the past tense takes the prefix of the letter Hey. It takes the prefix of the letter Hey. Just as the letter Hey is a prefix inside the Hof'al stem in the past tense, so is Hey, brothers and sisters, the prefix inside the Hof'al stem. So this is the singular side. This is the plural side. So let's see what we're dealing with in this particular regard. All right. Here we have this here. Hash barti. Hash Barata, Hash, Bart, Hash, Bar, Hash, Bara. Now look at this carefully, because if you remember lesson number 6, right? We went over the fact that you can have a shawah with the two of the last, the second and the fourth, the second and the fourth, or just one, or the second and the third. I want to emphasize that with the shawah taking you back to lesson number 6, because that's important, because you will never, brothers and sisters, see, okay, a shawah with the first and second letter. You might see it with the second and the third, as you see right here. All right? You might see it, brothers and sisters, with the fourth and the fifth, as here, or the second and the fourth. The second and the fourth. But never do you see it with the first and the second. Now, let's continue on this side, all right, before we translate. Hashbarnu. Hashbaratem. Hashbaraten. Hashbaru. All right. So let's look at this and translate it. All right. Hashbarati. I was crushed. Hashbarata. You was crushed when speaking to a male. Hashbart. Hashbart. You was crushed when speaking to a female. Hashbar. He was crushed or it was crushed. All right. Hashul Khan Hashbar. The table was crushed. All right. Hashbara. She was crushed or it was crushed. Now, when you're saying she or it was crushed, this it has to be feminine. All right. But ayah hashbara. A problem was crushed. Why are we saying was crushed? Because we remember that the Hof'al is the passive. So it's not active. So as we explained in lesson number 44 about the aspect of the passive and the active, all right? Then we see here, hashbarnu. Hashbarnu, we were crushed. Then you have hashbaratem. Hashbaratem means you all were crushed. Hashbaraten, you all were crushed when speaking to a female, or females, plural, sorry. Then you have hashbaru. Now with this one here, all right, you may want to say haim and haim. Haim hash baru. Haim hash baru. They were crushed. They were crushed feminine. All right. So at this point, brothers and sisters, what we're dealing with as far as the Hebrew classes are concerned, and what we're talking about is verb structure. All right. Now, I was actually asked earlier, why must we go over the verbs before we get into reading? And I want to emphasize something. Whether you're reading adjectives, nouns, pronouns, or verbs, you're still reading. All right? Regardless of whatever sentence part of it is, or whatever it belongs to in a sentence, be it a noun, a pronoun, a verb, an adjective, or so forth, if you're reading it, you are by default reading Hebrew. All right? So that's what we want to point out in that particular regard. Okay? So let's continue on. All right? And I'm going to, as before, erase this part and show why for edification purposes. All right? Or explain why as well for edification purposes. I want to take time out now, brothers and sisters, to give due respect to the people in Charlotte, North Carolina, in the congregation Hashaba, where I went this past Shabbat. It was beautiful. It was nice. It was welcoming. It was pleasant, and so forth. All right. So I want just to state that for edification purposes. Let's look at this here. All right. Now, this is the present tense of what we've been talking about. Okay. Now, as in the Hof'al stem, the Hof'al stem, right? The present tense takes the prefix of the letter mem, as in the PL stem, the Pu'al stem, the Hof'al stem, and as we see here, for now, the Hof'al stem. They take in the present tense the prefix of the letter mem. All right. So we're looking at this word right here, and this says the word mashbar, masculine, singular. So the pronouns that go with that is ani, ata, and hu. Ani mashbar, ata mashbar, hu mashbar. All right. Hu mashbar means he or it is being crushed. All right. Mashbarah, feminine, singular. So the pronouns that go along with that, brothers and sisters, all right, is ani, at, and he. He mashbarah. Ma aladot habaya. Aladot habaya, he mashbarah. What about the problem? The problem, she or it is being crushed. Is being crushed. That is the present tense because you're dealing with the aspect in this verb stem here being passive. All right. Mashbarim. All right. Masculine, plural. And of course, we have what? Mash barot. Feminine, plural. So with the pronouns for this one, you would say anachnu, atem, hain. Anachnu, aten, and hain for the feminine plural. All right. So this is something we want to go over for edification purposes. The meaning to be crushed. All right. For instance, the Hebrew word for ice, ICE, is the word kwerak. Hakwerak mashbar. The ice is being crushed. All right. Just throwing that out there. Hakwerak mashbar lasim bamayim. The ice is being crushed to put in the water. Hakwerak mashbar. The ice is being crushed. All right. Habaya mashbara. The problem is being crushed. All right. Ha oibim mashbarim. The enemies are being crushed. Habayot mashbarot. The problems, plural. The problems are being crushed. So this is something we want to point out for edification purposes. Now, for those who looked and wondered, this right here that you just see me circling, I put that there because that is the root of this inside the Hof'al stem. Hashbar. Hashbar. So I want to emphasize in most cases, when you have a mem in front of a root in a verb, no one understands that it either belongs in most cases to the Hof'al stem, the Hifel stem, the PL stem, or the Pu'al stem. That is over 90% of the time when you see a mem in front of any particular verb. I say over 90% because when you deal with the bacalam, all right, you see a mem there. So that's something I just want to point out in that particular regard. Next time, I'm going to try to make the time out to explain the bacalam that we've been talking about again and again and again and again. All right? The Hof'al stem does not, as the Pu'al stem does not, have a command form. All right? No command form. No command form. The Hof'al is passive. And when you're passive, you don't have any command. Hopefully that didn't go over everybody's head. All right? So with that, giving honor and praise to the Creator and the maker of heaven and earth, all right, I can be reached 908-587-4841. Call or text. Shalom.